and health issues in KZN. This program is the ideal springboard to broaden your knowledge on topics that directly or indirectly affect us all. Join Sister Anisa as she hosts in-depth discussions with well-informed guests to bring you up to speed on a variety of interesting subjects. Radio Islam International, broadening your horizons.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the KZN Brief this evening. We haven't had a show for the last 2 weeks due to load shedding, unfortunately. But today we are talking about the Minara Business Chamber Awards and the finalists who will be taking part. And we have with us online President of Minara Chambers, and that's Mr. Suleman, who will be talking to us about the function that will be held and the need for such an award, this sort of event and the reasons behind the chamber hosting such an event as well. We'll also be talking to one of the finalists, inshallah, in a little bit, and that will be our show for tonight. So let's get cracking, and we are speaking, as I said, to the president of the Minara Chamber, Business Chamber, and that is Mr. Suleman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the KZN Brief here on Radio Islam International.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me this evening.
Jazakallah khair for making the time. I know our show is a little bit late compared to most of the shows, but we cover KZN, and I thought it would be nice to have a chat to find out firstly, we know that there are quite a number of, I think 19 candidates who will be part of this, who have been shortlisted for the coveted annual awards that are being hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, and this will be taking place on the 28th of October. So tell us a little bit about the awards. How did it start, Mr. Suleman? Because, we look at all these business awards and they go on for some time, but we never really get to know exactly how did something like this start, and why did you see such a need for the chamber to take on something like this?
I think the most important, the chamber is in existence for almost 22 years now. We started this chamber about in the year 2000, and I think the key part of the chamber was to really conscientize our community with respect to the Islamic way of doing business and Islamic finance and, Islamic management and all those type, how to do business the Islamic way. And I think over the years we realized that, there are so many of our community members, whether it's businesses and, or whether it's in the youth, there's professionals and also obviously the people that are there in the community build up, relief programs and all that type of thing. We realize that it's important to actually, identify and recognize them. And it's not that many of them want to be recognized. In fact, many people say, no, we don't want to be involved. But at the same time, I think it's important to create these role models to show people how, against all odds, people have survived, how they've grown, how they've developed, whether you've got a background, whether you had a degree or didn't have a degree, and the challenges they face. So it was that persuaded us to really start these awards and to ensure that the younger generation realize that it's never going to be hunky-dory. Everything it has its challenges, and how people have started and how people have eventually succeeded. And so that's how we started the program. We said, let's look at the various categories and see how we can really find people that kind of fit into these categories, and how they could actually, how we can highlight their progress and their, the way they've grown into where they are today.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the categories that are looked at when you, started up the awards? And has that grown in this period of time that the awards have been taking place?
Yeah, we've actually reduced it a bit because, we found that it took too long to go to the awards, and, an evening became too long drawn out. So we kind of summarized it a bit and brought it down into six categories effectively. So that, people didn't really now get confused and that type of thing. At one stage, we looked at politics and looked at Lifetime Achiever and many other awards. And we really brought it right down to these categories that we have at the moment,
Mm-hmm. So looking at these categories, some of the people, as you say, will be seasoned business people, and some of them would be young people just coming into certain industries, but it's the achievements that they make. And I think that would be something that you would look at. Is there anything in particular, sort of like a criteria that you have when you choose the nominees?
So what we normally do, and I think it's important for, we kind of hand it over to an independent panel of judges. And the three judges this year were a chap called Atur from one of these business, incubators. The other one was Professor Shaida Cassim, and the third one was Ibrahim Bauda, who used to be the CEO of Al Baraka Bank. So we handed that to them and said, you look at each of the categories, look at each of the profiles, and you decide on the finalist, and ultimately they will decide on who the winners are in each category. So we've had, effectively handed to them. But obviously, they look at the businesses, if they are businesses, or the individuals, if they are individuals and, professionals or whatever, and see how what they've achieved and how they've achieved it, and, what were their challenges and that type of thing. So that's basically the task of the judges, effectively.
Yes. So this year, the 28th of October, is when you will be hosting the event. Where will it be taking place? And what are you seeing going forward for other events coming up soon? The awards coming up for the next couple of years, I suppose.
Yeah.
When you look at this, do you see much change that will be taking place? And with all that's happened in the past few years, I'm sure that there hasn't been, or has there been awards functions in the last 2 years, because most events were curtailed, obviously with, COVID and the lockdown. So is this one that's taking place now after the lockdown?
Yeah, so after the lockdown, during the lockdown, obviously, we couldn't really have any of these awards. And, normally the awards have to be kind of face-to-face, and people need to be in the same room and, that type of thing. And we called up onto the podium. It's going to be held at the Coastlands Musgrave on the 28th of October, at about 7 p.m. in the evening. So we're looking at, from 6:30 to 7 p.m. there will be a, meet and greet and, that type of thing. And inshallah, we hope to start exactly at 7 p.m. Our guest speaker is Junaid Bulbulya, but we'll also have, at the function, we'll have the Deputy Mayor of eThekwini, and we'll have the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. Both will be giving talks as well. But at the same time, I think for those listening in, we're going to keep it tight. We hope to serve supper at 8 o'clock, and then we have the first session with all the speeches between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then thereafter, we would have dinner, and then, because people complain that they don't want to eat too late in the evening, and then we'll have the award after dinner. Just to mention the categories, you've got the Business Person of the Year category. There's three finalists there. Yusuf Bucks of the MFA Group, Hanif Salat of Elegant Line Trading, and Mohammed Amra from Pam Golding. That's the first category. Then the Business Entity of the Year, we've got the three finalists. It's Regent Business School, the Natal Box Factory, and Plastimate Liquid Manufacturers. Then the next category is Businesswoman of the Year. You got Mariam Tayob Cassim, who's the Director of Richester Foods. There's Zahira Kara Suleman, who's from Kaizen ISO Solutions. And you got Ruxana Rashid Moda, CEO of Apex Development and Success Growth Coaching. And the young entrepreneur finalists include Musa Bucks, who's the founder of Pedro's franchise, Talha Mutala, Director of Mutala Perfumes, and then you've got Yusuf Arabi with Ivy Fusion. And the Professional Achiever finalist is Fiona Khan, who's an author, an activist, Yunus Hussain, who's the CEO of Invest South Africa, and Dr. Shabnam Abdullah, who's a speech therapist and audiologist. Those are the categories there. But what we've decided on the categories, as far as the community builder category, there are 4 nominees, and we've decided that all 4, because we've not had any of the dinners, awards evenings in the last 2 years, we basically decided that these are selfless individuals, these 4 selfless individuals that have really given up the time and family life, and have made a lot of sacrifice without any financial gain. And we said we'll recognize all 4 of them. It's Jasida Muhammad Suleman of Caring Sisters Network, Ahmad Parak, who's a community activist, a counselor, who's played a very important role in the Islamic Burial Council. And then there's Ashraf Ismail, business person who has developed many startups and trained many women within road safety. And the last one is Azad Wadi, one of the founders of Salam Foundation and Farm in the City project. So these four, we'll be recognizing all four because of their type of selfless sacrifice and an important role all of them played in even within the COVID period of last 2 years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you've given us quite a rundown of what the awards entail and how it all started and when it will be taking place and who would be there. But inshallah, we are now going to be talking to one of the contenders for the Women's Business Award or Businesswoman's Award. So that would be Mariam Tayob Cassim. So inshallah, we will be speaking to her in a few moments. But we do want to thank you, Shukran, for your time this evening as well. Jazakallah khair.
Thanks.
And all the best. Well, that was Suleman, president of the Minara Chamber of Commerce here in Durban. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, inshallah, we'll be talking to Mariam Tayob Cassim, and she is one of the three contenders in the Businesswoman category, and she is a director of Richester Foods, and we're talking to her a little bit about her nomination and being one of the businesswomen here in KZN.
It's the season's best fashion fabric trends, now available at Pay and Save, the fabric and bridal center. From basic to beautiful to must-have exclusive pieces, eye-catching trims to match. The newest offerings from the most innovative designers, exquisite beaded and embroidered fabrics, all now available only at Pay and Save, the fabric and bridal center at number 5 Pelican Avenue, Lenasia. Call 011 852 4910. Pay and Save, usually unusual fabrics.
Sunbeam Steel, suppliers of all steel products. For carports, gates, burglar-proofing, fencing, reinforcing steel mesh, and all your structural steel. We also stock roof sheeting in galvanized polycarbonate and fiberglass. For that fantastic rail deal, contact Sunbeam Steel. Situated at Main Clip River Road, Aikenhof. Call us on 011 948 6011 or 6013 or 011 948 7905.
Current, relevant and up to date. Listen to the KZN Brief with Sister Anisa Essa. Every Wednesday evening from 9 to 10 p.m. Focusing on Africa politics, environmental challenges and health issues in KZN. This program is the ideal springboard to broaden your knowledge on topics that directly or indirectly affect us all. Join Sister Anisa as she hosts in-depth discussions with well-informed guests to bring you up to speed on a variety of interesting subjects. Radio Islam International, broadening your horizons.
We are talking about the Minara Chamber of Commerce Business Awards, and this is going to be held. The finalists have been chosen for the 2022 Business Awards, and there are 19 successful South African individuals, independent companies, and community figures that have been shortlisted for the coveted awards that will be hosted by the Minara Chamber of Commerce here in Durban, and it will be taking place on the 28th of this month at the Coastlands Hotel. And we're talking this evening to one of three contenders in the Businesswoman category, and that is Mariam Tayob Cassim. She's the director of Richester Foods. Mariam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and to the show.
Wa alaikum salam, Anisa. It's such an honor and privilege to be speaking to you this evening.
Well, it's my honor and privilege to be speaking to you, and as a sister, I am so lucky to be able to get to know all these people, wonderful achievements that you have. And inshallah, with these nominations, giving hope to the younger generation out there. So my first question to you would be, what are some of your achievements that you think have made you one of the contenders for this particular category?
I was completely humbled, and it's almost an honor to be nominated for this category. And I never thought that I was ever worthy of an achievement. So I must say, for me to sit and think of what I can give you a little bit of our background. We started a few years ago making sweets literally in buckets, not having much equipment, and today we employ 650 employees and making 7,000 sweets a minute, somewhat, operating over 4 large manufacturing facilities. So
that's an achievement, a definite achievement.
And definitely we're promoting women in business. So because I was brought up in a family without any brothers, my father treated me like a son. So he taught me that there's no difference between a man and a woman. Anybody can do anything. And he always planned for me to take over the family business, which ultimately didn't happen. But because I had the background of a girl can do anything, in our business today, women growth and promoting women in business is very much a priority in our lives and our business.
So that would be the advice I think you would then want to give to younger women out there as well.
That is the best advice I can give anybody. Don't look at your children, who's the boy and who's the girl. Look at them as individuals and what their capabilities are. And certainly, if you just treat them as individuals, they will grow into something beyond your imagination.
Mm-hmm. What would winning this award mean to you?
You know, Anissa, I sat here this evening waiting for this interview, and it's a little bit past my bedtime. And I was thinking of, oh my word, I'm sitting here to be interviewed by a radio station and share my story. And the Almighty blessed us and inspired us to start this. And I never realized that I would be worthy. Or you go to work every single day and you put your head down, you give it your best, you treat your staff well, you pay your taxes, you don't take shortcuts. And all of a sudden one day you're sitting and being interviewed. So I think it shows that if you just put your head down and you give it your best, in the end, something meaningful will be created. So I think the years of slog and sweat, it shows that it does have value in the end, not only uplifting lives, but to be recognized for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and your staff, I'm sure they know that you are one of the contenders for the award. How did they feel and how did they react when they found out?
It was such a lovely surprise to see their reaction. So I mentioned it because I said to, we've got a top 8 leadership and 50% are women. And we sat in our recent leadership meeting, and I said, guys, I've been nominated. I'm not sure if I'm worthy, and it's an amazing award. So I think it'll be fun just to go down and enjoy the weekend, if anything. And they were sort of, Mariam, you don't realize how much you've inspired us and how much you've uplifted us. And I think it will be something amazing with the other contenders. So I was very humbled by their response. I didn't realize the value that I had brought to their lives until this nomination was presented. It was very, very surreal and humbling.
Absolutely. I can only imagine what that must be like, particularly as you are somebody who's created jobs for more than 600 people in the situation the country is facing right now. And I think the world. Creating one job today is a blessing because that person is going to be grateful just knowing that they are able to put food on the table and a roof over their heads for their families. So alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you for what you've done. And inshallah, we wish you all the best with the awards. And if I do get to meet you, I would love to interview you further so that we can get our young people out there to realize that, a little bit of hard work, or is it a lot of hard work, I should say, and brings you
just a little.
All right. So I suppose, you have to work at it. It's not something that would happen overnight because effort is what, and the good intentions that you have are what takes you forward to be successful.
You said it and summarized it so perfectly, and I would love to chat with you in future because I always said if I could just inspire one person to be the best version of themselves, then my objective has been achieved. But I would like to stress that truly just doing the right thing, truly giving it your best and working very, very hard. I was joking when I said a little. And taking care of everybody and having values that are meaningful and care and concern. It's amazing what hard work, care and concern and true values can achieve in life. And I would love to spread that message to everybody. Put your head down. Don't try shortcuts. And you can achieve whatever you set out to achieve.
Inshallah. Well, you are testimony to that. So inshallah, I hope that your advice that you've given out and your achievements will be seen by others and that you would, they would take that and run with it and make successes of their lives as well. But shukran for your time this evening. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're absolutely welcome. And that was Mariam Tayob Cassim, the director of Richester Foods, talking to us about her being one of 3 contenders for the Businesswoman category at the Minara Chamber of Commerce Awards that will be taking place, Business Awards rather, that will be taking place on the 28th of October. And that will be at the Coastlands Hotel here in Durban. It also brings us to the end of a very short program this evening. Inshallah, maybe we could talk to some of the other finalists once, they've been given their awards. We know who the winners are in those different categories. We want to wish all of them the very best. May Allah make it, a success for all of them. Whether they go home with the trophy or not, we do know that they have put in their best, and that is why they are the contenders for this. And for anybody out there, I hope that they become your hope, your mentors, and taking young people forward, that they would instill in young people today their achievements and how young people could use this to go forward and to better themselves in their lives. Jazakallah khair for listening from me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.